What's going on, guys? Looks like we're back yet again. On an unfortunate day. My guest today is a person being nominated for Recording of the Year, Grandpa Joe. Yeah, that's right. Joe, you want to go into it? I interviewed my ex-wife this year, Miss Joe, and they declared that as one of the best recordings thus far. I got some stiff competition, people pulling for me to win, but I got some competition on my hand. So I ain't don't rule D-Matic out. That fool nominated. he nominated, but I want to thank the fans first and foremost. That's a recording we did. And we said before we hit record, we said this gonna be big. And then you heard me say it on the recording. I say this gonna be big, and hey, I'm nominated and I'm happy and blessed. God did that. God did that. Now, what people don't know is today's been a pretty rough day. Oh, today is just what they call that bullshit. Let's just keep it real, uncensored, uncuffed. Today has been that bullshit. Alright, it's just been straight up no reasoning for this day why it shouldn't exist. It was just a doodle day. What you shit it for. But we here to do this shoot interview. That's right. 2012 was a different year. What's your opinion on it? Oh, I agree it's different. Real different. The Pain did 2008. Dean did '09. And let's see, Trunks did 10. And Best did some of 11. The other footage can't be found. But what's available is pretty popular. What are your opinions on it? My favorite one out of all of them is Charles Dean's. Cause of the simple fact that it was a different choice. You see, you hear Payne voice all the time. You always hear him. You know what I mean? He one of the voices that you hear. Trunks too. And Best as well. He a little more quieter, but Dean, you don't expect. And it was refreshing because there's somebody you don't expect. Oftentimes XTV, we get in this trap, and it's like let's use him. Let's use him. No, use somebody different. Well, that way, your thing can grow, and you can build your brand on different type of things. Cause if you have one way, that way gonna get old and tired. But if you have something different, you give another perspective, another voice. So that's why I like that one a lot better. William was what they brung him in here for is they was really trying to do something different with XTV in 2012. What happened in 11, and you can call it all the other years, was times was bad. And we kind of lost our way. And that's what I look at it as after the disastrous of '08 and '09 and all other years, 2012 was new. Super Duper had his ID, or Tony B, he had his ID. He had his birth certificate, and he was ready to, just do everything new. And so, 2012 was built on a new XTV, on a new idea, new thoughts. And that's what that was, us just wanting to bring something new on the table. And we just said, forget it. Let's bring on William. You know what I mean? And let's make him this dude trying to take XTV. And his efforts almost worked. You know what I mean? He challenged D-Matic, and he was gonna take over control of XTV to make it something better. And he said he was gonna make it better. What was he even talking about? Well, to folks outside of XTV West, they look at this and be like, "What is this disastrous?" Yeah, he was pretty much a soccer dad. You know what I mean? He just like, "What is this mess my kid looking up to? Let me fight the good fight." And he was that. He thought that XTV was full of a bunch of racist, ignorant, he didn't understand the culture. And so he coming in here to, do the right thing. But, his efforts didn't work. And we'll get into that a little later on. But, yeah. Boy. This is the first big disaster of 2012 to me. A big disaster, huh? Yeah. Again, 2012, we trying to be different, trying to be unique. And so we say, let's go to Miami. We never left Tampa. We was in Tampa our whole life. So it just kind of just came up like, Tony B was actually talking to Al, who was living with, you know, Anthony or Cujo, Easy, and Sandra at the time. He was talking to Al, and Al told this story of this woman that just up and left and went to Paris. She just went to Paris, left everything. You know what I mean? Like she got her kids, of course, and all the things. But they just went to Paris one day. It's like, let's just go to Paris. You know what I mean? And inspired by that, Tony B had said, "Damn, how about I just up and go to Miami?" Not even planning a hotel. He just kind of did it. And prior to this, he went to Orlando out of nowhere, and he had fun. But Miami was a different ball game. People was telling them, "Don't go to Miami," or "It's this violent place," and the reputation of Miami. People thinking Tony Montana real and shit. And it's just "Oh, don't go to Miami. Stay home." And he was just gonna stay there for 2 days at a hotel. But Super Duper was just like, "Nah, man, I gotta do this." And so he said, "We gonna have a pay-per-view. Miami Beatdown is gonna be in Miami. It's gonna be in this nice hotel. It's gonna be pizza. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be off the chain. It's gonna be awesome." All these plans, and on paper it sounded good. XTV is in a different location, but it's too damn good to be true. We get down there. Oh boy, it was just a disaster. XTV East Coast actually loves Miami Beatdown, but over here, that shit is frowned upon. From the intro video we tried to put together to everything, the shit is terrible. When you don't plan out your stuff, you're headed for disaster. And he done lost his wallet on a trip. We just got there. Where my wallet? Where my wallet? Somebody stole my wallet. He put his dumb ass put it in this big ass bag that was under the bus. First disaster. As far as the hotel, he didn't book a hotel in advance, so it's late at night. He trying to find a hotel. This cab driver just, the money going up on the little meter and shit. He wound up paying $30. He probably was, cheated because they seen that, he was out of town and he ain't never been there. So the cab driver probably charged him extra. He wound up paying it anyway though. Going to this hotel that was just really expensive. You know what I mean? And it was so expensive he had to just stay one day in there. You know what I mean? One hotel, he had to stay there in there for one day. And it was a nice hotel. He took a little bit of pictures of it. They gone now. But yeah, it was a nice hotel, but super expensive. You had to have reservations, but he was lucky to have one room. You know what I mean? And it was just one of those things where all these different factors, all he almost lost his wallet, this going on, that going on. Where it's like, oh shit, this might be a bad trip. You know what I mean? And boy, the next day was even worse. You know what I mean? It's just he woke up and then he had to leave the hotel. He called his dad, let his dad know he in Miami, because his dad lived out there. And find out his dad don't live in Miami. He lives in Homestead. So he got to travel, you know what I mean, on a train all the way to Homestead. And, just dealing with all these weird ass different things going on. First time getting on a train, you know what I mean, and just being, lost in Miami on some Home Alone shit. You know what I mean? And he makes it to Homestead after many different crazy shits. That's all I'm gonna say, nothing else. And he stayed with his dad, and we did action. No, we did. It was called Miami Beatdown actually, and shit, we did the damn show, and we had to be quiet cause we was inside, what his dad called the man room. We had to be super quiet. We had to whisper, kind of like what we're doing now, but it was way lower, and you couldn't hear shit. You know what I mean? So it's like Miami quiet beatdown. You know what I'm saying? And we had a few matches. Killer fought, I think, DT in the parking lot, but we ain't seen that shit since it aired because we hate that damn pay-per-view. And man, it was just bad. It was just bad. Trunks fought William Williams, of course. William won for control over XTV. Trunks lost, and people was just like, how in the hell did you lose? And that's when people was holding Trunks up to a high standard, athletic wise, but that's when he first started losing it. And, people was shocked, like, what? How did he lose? Like, and he lost fairly too. But, yeah, we finally went back, edited up. I think the editing took a good, probably a day or so. And man, oh man, XTV East, again, they loved it. And I think they was doing the bricks while we was in Miami, and we was dying at that shit. That was one of the only things that made us happy, watching them do the bricks, but in hindsight, the trip was a disaster. The show was a disaster. We don't got no fun memories about that. The best part of Miami Beatdown really was setting it up and getting, prepared for it. But when we did it, what was prepared wasn't in place right. And as a result, it's one of the worst pay-per-views of 2012. People say, oh, what about this? What about... No, it's Miami Beatdown. Because, we do all this hype, all this promotion, just to fail. Shit was ugly. Whack ass. Now, we gonna stop it at there. But y'all hold y'all horses. Because we got a ring. Hold on. Hey there. Action in Orlando was the follow-up. It proceeded Miami Beatdown. And from my understanding, it didn't take place in Orlando. No, it didn't. It didn't take place in Orlando because, you see, understand, Tony B had fun in Orlando the first time. He ain't had that much fun in Miami. He built it up and it didn't deliver. But when he first went to Orlando, he went to Orlando before Miami, he had fun. Alright, it was his first time going down to that downtown Disney. And he a grown ass man at downtown Disney, you know what I mean, wondering why people looking at him, but he didn't give a fuck though. He enjoyed his life. You know what I mean? I think he bought some stuff for his cousin, and he was gonna have a little cousin, so he got something for him. He got something for his mom. He got this little Minnie Mouse thing that kind of spin around. If you pay close attention, that Minnie Mouse look like it's twerking. But in all seriousness, he had fun. You know what I mean? It was his first trip on his own, so he thought Miami was gonna be the same. But I already told that story, and so he figured, hey, since I had fun in Orlando, the follow-up pay-per-view for XTV West naturally should be Action in Orlando. And that was the plan, and it was supposed to work. He bought his PS1, he bought everything, and we was gonna really do it. It was gonna be good. It didn't work out. It just, it had all the makings of working out, but I think his phone he had a horrible phone, and it was just getting worse, and made it to Orlando in a hotel he originally stayed at. He tried to stay there again, but they went up on the price and they tried to juke a nigga. Uh, but other than that, I mean, it wasn't a real fun trip this time. It was just because he had to leave immediately. And I think he lost his ticket to go back. I think he lost it. The It was a two-way ticket, and I think he lost his ticket, so his cousin had to pick him up. Uh, yeah, but that's why it didn't take place in Orlando. And the actual show is a lot better than Miami Beatdown. You know, it's kind of throw. You think it's ugly, huh? Yeah. I mean, picture wise, when you see XTV West, you know what it is. It's give me a second. It's a certain look that XTV West has. I mean, quality wise, picture wise, and it didn't have that. And we just we didn't spend enough time setting up. Looking back, we ain't spent enough time setting up. But overall, the show, was better than Miami Beatdown again. Of course, that's when Trunks first met Pain in that boxing match. You know what I mean? Uh, wow. I think that Charles Dean and 80 stole the show that night, though. I really think so. Out of everything that happened, that was the one that was just like back to back. You know what I mean? And there was no denying that. You had two caliber athletes, on different levels, but however their styles matched together when you break it down. And I think that was really what made that whole show work. It was very amazing. See those two go at it. I'm gonna be long-winded as hell. It's okay. I mean, Grandpa Joe, you were with Trunks and Pain when they were little kids. You raised them. So, I mean, I don't expect any less, I expect you to talk too damn much. I look at it like this, I said it before. The whole feud with Trunks and Pain has been brought upon based off of jealousy. You know what I mean? Growing up successful, and when you young, you only want the flashy stuff. You only want what you see. You want the money. You want the girl. You know what I mean? And when you get certain things, it's like, whoa, he got this and that, this and that. Oh yeah, well, let me get this and that because I'm better than him. And it sprung from that jealousy. And I think Trunks got tired of Pain talking shit because I think because he was coming on F and K a whole lot. You know what I mean? Just talking shit Trunks just talking shit, you know what I mean, trying to rile him up. And Trunks said, look, we gonna fight one more time. We gotta record it. We gonna fight one more time, you know what I mean? And if I win, you leave me alone forever. You know what I mean? And I'll leave XTV, he actually said. You see how that went. But he said, yeah, I'm gonna fight you. You know, it's gonna be in a boxing match. You know, cause Pain is a boxer. I'm gonna beat you at your own game. He ain't nothing but a crackhead. Everybody rooting for Trunks. You know, they put the little animation thing together, XTV Sports Center. That shit ugly too. You know what I mean? So everybody rooting for him. It's gonna be the best fight ever, you know, but Trunks gonna win. Come time of the fight, Trunks got his ass tore up. You know what I mean? Talked all that mess and got destroyed. He got knocked out in the first round. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even like, it was like 46 seconds in the first round. He out. You know what I mean? And it's like, you talked all that shit though, you know? And I said, nah, we got to restart the match. You know, because nobody couldn't believe he lost. He loses again. You know, that to me was the fall of Trunks. And I don't care what nobody say, Trunks is still falling off to me. You know, he might have little gimmicks and things. Yeah, he a legend. But when you look at it, if Trunks fought whoever today, would you be supportive of him? You know, after him losing that bad the first time. You know, I'm going to get on the second and third time. Well, the second time, rather. You know, you can't root for somebody that continues to let you down. You know, it's hard to. Hold on. How many times they fought? Give me a second. But, yeah, you know, Trunks, just really let a lot of people down. He kept losing. He had a lot of mouth, and Pain was thought of as a crackhead addict because he just came off of the drugs. Nobody knew, so they still looked at him as a crack addict. So he surprised everybody, coming back and doing what he did, and now Trunks is no longer credible. He probably may be well respected as a legend for what he did, but at the moment, what he doing doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? That's why I'm gonna win Recording of the Year over that nigga. but at the top of the recording, you said that you have stiff competition. Yeah, I got stiff competition. You see, what it all boiled down to is I'm not going to be ignorant and blindly say, I'm going to win. The year ain't over yet. Trunks, his recording might even beat me. I don't care. He's a great, I still love him. But talent-wise, if he had a project by himself, ain't nobody going to watch that mess. He ain't good worth a silly boy shit. A silly boy shit. Well, here we are yet again. Yes, sir. As we're here with Grandpa Joe. How's it going today, man? Oh, it's going as well as it can. Oh, sometimes life gets sick, but well enough in the eyes of God, so you can't complain. So we did a 2012 shoot. It went good, but for some reason we just never got an opportunity to complete the rest. And I figure, hey, since we're both off, at this particular time we both got busy schedules. Yes, we do. Just because I'm an old man don't mean I ain't busy. And you brought along Miss Mary May. Nice to meet you. Oh, nice to meet you, sugar. I give hugs. I ain't no man. Man, shake hands. Don't be touching my woman like that. You don't gotta grab all like that. Get your tail beat. Now we did 2012 briefly in 2016. I think it was either the middle or the beginning. You caring to go into why we stopped doing it? Well, Tony B, the creator of all this mess he called XTV West, he say since he lost the podcast with the best. Yeah, cause Best did a podcast. He did 2011. He did that timeline, and it was good. But for some reason, we lost it. So he got so upset. He said, "Fuck it." Excuse me. It's okay. Forget it. I ain't gonna complete it no more. I'm mad. So he got what you call in his feelings over that. But recently, he listened to what he had on the 2012 one. And said, I might as well continue that. Stop holding on to what you ain't got and get more of what you can give. Oh, that's right. So we hit on various points. Anything you want to bring up before we get into it? Yeah. From what is completed, I got people hounding me. They like, Joe, you. This one young fella. Joe, you so negative. You so negative about XTV. Listen, when I say what I say, my intent is to never disrespect nobody's opinion. Nobody's opinion. I don't. That's not what I do. That's not my main focus. Okay. I give my opinion from where I come from. I'm in XTV. Yeah. Huh. I'm in XTV. So I just see what I see and say what I say based off of that. Not to just throw it out there and hurt feelings. That ain't what I do. So if you in your feelings, do something else besides complain. Tell me what's your opinion on whatever, you feel I said wrong. And maybe we can have a conversation, but don't dismiss me. That's right, you're telling. Don't dismiss me and be disrespectful and think I ain't gonna come back at you, but cause I got something crammed up. XTV Mania of 2012 was really good. Like many XTV Manias of recent time, this was a bit of a disaster when it was being done. When you look at 2013's XTV Mania, even though we ain't gonna talk about that one, it's the same thing. They had to deal with that heat at the casino and all these different ailments, but overall we can look back and say that was a great show, even though we went through what we went through. Same thing with this one. I know LT had his wedding with Miss Yosie, but they wound up not getting married the day of the wedding. And because I think Rashad, he wound up calling now. They call him 4. Why did he call that boy a number? I don't know. I'm not. And again, like Joe said, we ain't trying to be disrespectful. Why that boy called a number? For what? What's his son gonna be named? 5? Who's 1? But that's that baby's name. But as I was saying, so they had that wedding and it didn't happen. Hold on a second. And this was a show that was like I said, a bit of a disaster. 4, he called, and then talking about Ray or something, and and then that kind of distracted the wedding, and all these different just things happened, and that wound up not happening. The wedding got canceled. They argued, um, and just a lot of little disastrous things was happening. When you plan something like a show or a segment, uh, you plan it to go a certain way, and when it goes another way, it's like it's misdirection. It's like, this ain't what I wanted, this ain't what was supposed to happen, what's going on? And so when you in the process of all that, you angry, but then later on you have appreciation for it, because you realize it ain't about what you tried to do, because something good came out of what you didn't plan. You know what I mean? It's like something else happened, and it's great in that light. Our plans that we was trying to do didn't work, but what wind up coming out of that was great content. And that's how I look at this XTV Mania. Bobby and 90, wow. Everybody think that stole the show. What they say, it says stole the show, and that damn show stole the show. It was I think it was like 2 matches after that, or maybe even the main event. But I don't want to see that mess. I'm sorry, sir. My grandson, he sending me so much nasty stuff. He a little young, yeah, a little young kid just learning the internet, and he just think he can send me any damn thing. I'm gonna tear his ass up. Told him not to send me this. Anyway, as I was saying, so Bobby and 90, yeah, they stole the show. This is when I truly gained a respect for 90. As you know, even to this day, we always at odds. We never seen eye to eye. I never understood where he came from. He never understood where I came from. And it was forget you and forget you. That was our whole vibe. But as time grew on, because I even heard him on something he did, he even give me a bit of a shout out. He said, I forgot what he said though, but we starting to more so appreciate each other for what we have done. And this is something that he done did, where I can sit back and say that was good. You know, um, he fought a great match. He didn't cheat like the next person I'm about to go into. Yeah, y'all can call this a shoot, what I'm about to say, but anyway, pow pow. So with 90 though, he really impressed me. I mean, him and Bob both went out there and tore it up, and he had a real great show, which I think we gonna talk about that later on. That year, and this was it. And this is how, to me, this is how you retire on top. It's Trump's butt that continues to go out there and embarrass himself. He embarrassing himself, okay? I feel like when you're old as dirt, you should not be getting out there trying to do all these different things to entertain. You see, you should do what I'm doing. Just do podcasts and talk about the days where you was on top, instead of just pretending to look like you doing something when you looking like a fool. And now they didn't look like a fool. Doesn't look like a fool. He did the announcing with Renee Young. Another good recording. You know what I mean? He does the podcast too, that I really like it. I can't, I've said it before, I can't do all the language. I can't do that verbiage. I never was able to sit there and listen to F you, F this, F that. And I'm a church going woman. Always been my whole life since I was a little girl. So I don't get it. Ugh. Yeah, not the, we cuss too, cause I know somebody gonna say that. Somebody go, oh, you cussed on this episode. We may say a cuss or two, but when it's just that all the time, exactly. Breathe before you say another 4-letter word. But that's just how it is. And but what I want to get into, who I want to tear into, that boy Killer. He so deserved that tail whooping by Romy. And Romy done said he gonna come back and beat Killer up again. Cause he acting up again. He darn sure is. He talking some Lil Flair McNugu. That's what he said. I believe it's Lil Flair McNair. Or Lil Flair McNair, whatever. He crazy. He goofy. I don't know what this boy's problem is. He may be getting the wrong hit or something. But he crazy. He cuckoo. He really is. And anybody that want to continue to buy into this fool, whatever, onto this match. He came in there mad. I love to see him that mad. Because when you've come into my studio, darn near destroyed my program, The Joe Show, with your disrespectful tail. That's how I used to feel. That's how so many others you used to mess with felt. Look at the old matches before this. He coming in there, he joking, he trying to make people mad. You know what I mean? He doing all this. You know how he be. Fast forward here. He getting his tail kicked. No jokes he doing seem to work. He's embarrassed. Like he should be. And I was so happy to see Romy. Hold on a second. But yeah, I was just happy to see that. I wrote something in my notes that I had to say. Give me 1 second. Alright, take your time, Joe. I was just basically happy to see the fall of Killer. Overall, I think that's what I wrote. I probably left my notes in that car. You want me to get it, Joe? Nah, it's okay. Nah, Joe, but because I can get it, I gotta get my umbrella out there. It's gonna rain later. No, Mary, just sit down. But I'm just saying, Joe is right out there. Don't worry about it. Get it tomorrow. We ain't gonna do this shoot interview tomorrow, Joe. I'm just saying, can I go out there? It's okay. Leave them notes in the car. It's just it'll come up later. This how we argue. I can't stand them. So what else? Is that all you got to say about XTV Mania? We still can't remember the number. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. Let's just say XTV Mania 2012. It was a great show. You know what I mean? You got 90 still in the show. Ada made a very small appearance. That's what I ain't get. She just appeared briefly, but I know she was busy around that time a whole lot. Me and her talk so much. That's my girlfriend. She good. Crest Two-Face up. Alright, what's the next thing? XTV Bricks. XTV Bricks is proof that East Coast started this gangster stuff. And I'm just gonna be real. XTV East, they get it. I salute them with, I was gonna say with every hand I got, but yeah, I salute them basically. They did their thing with this. To date, this is the superior show. We had 2 shows. You see, that's the problem with XTV West Coast. We had 2 shows trying to compete. And we tried to do so much. That's the main issue with why Raw and SmackDown didn't work. Hold on 1 second. Let me check my notes because I had something to say. Yeah, if I may just put Raw and SmackDown in the same conversation, that's fine. Yeah, you see, the breaks was so natural. And that's another thing. 90 talked about
how natural like certain recordings in XTV was, and that's what makes them classic. They wasn't trying to do this and add this type of effect. They wasn't trying to go the extra mile to make something groundbreaking. They just naturally was groundbreaking. And same can be said for the bricks. It's like they just all they had was a camera phone, this kind of phone, by the way, Samsung. They had this phone and they put it on the TV and recorded and did their thing. And as a result, it's the superior show. With XTV West Coast, we tried to do all this kind of crazy stuff with Raw. We had the stereo turned up to 7 and all these different things. It's all fancy looking, but when you look at the actual product, it didn't deliver. But Joe, you were on that show. I mean, you were the like head guy that was part of that. Yeah, but I was like Obama when I was commissioner. you know, Basically Congress got to say a lot. And I tried to sneak my little stuff in there, but it's like Congress lame. You know what I mean? And that's just how it was. I would come out there and make announcements and try to put things over, but people didn't listen to what I had to say. They wanted to know we gotta do these little commercials. We gotta do these. We gotta do that, and just doing all these different things that in turn was causing the show Raws and SmackDown to get so tedious. That's what it was. It just got too tedious. Like this is how it happened. We would do a show, whether it be Raw, SmackDown, and we would upload the footage to the computer, but we couldn't edit it correctly because we couldn't edit it correctly because the computer and movie maker doesn't read the type of phone video files that you record on a phone. So we had to use another source. We didn't know about any video converter and video converted conversions and all these other different things. So we just said, okay, since this movie maker don't read it, let's use Windows Live Movie Maker. And I know I said I don't cuss like that, but that damn thing was shit. It was horrible. It was so terrible. I remember to this day, I was like, what is going on? I remember because we was a part of the editing committee, and we would just be in there for hours. We upload the footage, and if it's over 15 minutes, forget about it. You're going to deal with the computer freezing. You're going to deal with it crashing. You're going to deal with you have to put the thing on there. You're going to deal with and it's a Samsung phone, so it might even just erase one of your files off of the phone. And when you upload everything all together, it's all these different things going on. And we also had to, is we recording still? Okay. We also had to use, because that was done on WWE 12, and we also had to make the storyline, and the loading on that would take so doggone long. And it's already bad with what we just mentioned with the movie maker, but now you gotta wait all this time for this loading on WWE 12 with the storyline and stuff. And we actually had a completed episode, before the last one that's uploaded on XTV West Coast. But we got so mad that we wound up not doing it. We said we can't do it because we was getting so stressed. And that's truly what Raw and SmackDown was. The most stressful thing we've probably done to date. You know what I mean? We've done a whole lot of different things. But when I look back from where I sit, that was the worst thing we've done in XTV history, probably. I mean, just the waiting time, the long stuff going through, and then again, when you look at the finished product. Now, I said what I said about Hardcore House and these other different things, and that's what people mad at mostly, is I kind of, said what I said about the shows that we did that year, but that's just how I feel. They just wasn't good, you know. But I will say, you can't say Raw and SmackDown is good. Like, you can watch it. Go on ahead, Terrell Williams, Justin, JJ. I hope y'all review it. I do. And if y'all do get us a positive review, shoot, put me on a podcast. Because I don't see, this is something I truly don't see, the positivity. You got Wells on one episode. He go out there shooting people. I was scared. Yes, he did do that. I was scared. I remember, I guess him and DT got into some confrontation, and something snapped in Wells. I always used to just talk about that boy. You did used to always be like, something wrong with that fella. Cause he just used to just strike me as this. He got a mental problem, and something definitely snapped. And bless that baby's heart though. I didn't expect him to do all that. A lot of innocent people were hurt. A lot of innocent people were, killed. From what I understand, and he just get let off. Is he OJ? But that's just how things work out. And then I remember he got blown up, and all these other different things. But we done spent enough time on Raw and SmackDown. Basically, I guess we can end it like this. The Bricks was the superior show, is the superior show. And, XTV West Coast just tried too hard and did too much to compete with something that was uncompete-wittable. I don't care what y'all say. Yeah, I know. Hold up. Yeah. 90% getting show of the year, 2012. This was a funny episode. I gotta say, this was a different light to see 90 in. I mean, he did like a buddy cop type of thing. I remember growing up, Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte, they was funny. That what that was, 48 Hours. That's the type of film I would watch. You know what I mean? And this reminded me of that. I mean, they were cussing and everything. It was very XTV, but the fact that they kind of did a drawback to that era and, made it very XTV, but did it like that, I think that's what makes this very special. This is this is what XTV did right in 2012. like to me, that's what this is. XTV does something right, because this is a year that, when I look back, I don't really have the most fondest memories on doing certain things, because times was, it was a little rough. But this is something naturally they just sat back and recorded and did it, and that whole chemistry with those two, and I think they tried to do it again, and it was good, but it wasn't as good as this, because it was unexpected. And he had that was a silly episode there. He had they went to the mall and they getting chased by the police, and 90 just so nonchalant, but you got Ben Stiller terrified. So silly. Yeah, that was a good episode there, And I mean, y'all already know Joe is heavily critical of 90%, and any show that deals with, the whole violent, I'm evil, but this wasn't that. This was a more positive 90, and that's another thing that strikes me about this particular episode is it's a lot more positive than what he does, because I understand he comes from a dark place, so as a result, the material he delivers is gonna be just that. But this is a time where he ain't taking his life too serious, his self so serious, and he's able to look back and laugh and have you laugh at something. And 90 seems like he's in a good place, and I think this is where it started though, because you look at era of '07, '08, '06. I always skip '06. I don't know why I do that. But '06 through '08, '09, when you look at those periods, you see a man with a lot of anger, uh, because he comes from a hard life. And 2011 kicks in, he's still a little angry. You know what I mean? It's still that, forget the world. But you fast forward to this, it's like, forget everything, be happy. It's okay to say, forget this, forget that. It's okay to be in that light. But when you let that control what you say and what you do in a negative manner, then nothing good is ever going to come out of that. But when you able to translate that in something more positive and uplifting, like a comedy, which is what he did with Ben Stiller, with this episode, it's gonna come out light. You know what I mean? And it's gonna change the direction of XTV, because I feel like a lot more positive things came from this. And I look at a whole lot, Joe. I understand, your bash of Killer. Uh, hey, he did what he did, and as a result, he's gonna get bashed. He was a bad boy. But when Killer did the Cosby Show the previous year in 2011, I feel like that started the trend of positivity. Not even that though, May. Like when the Fresh Prince, when they did that, we gonna get into that, of course. But when they did that in 2011, that was just so different. Like the fact that it didn't have to be dark. They didn't have to cuss. They didn't have to do all this, and it was just naturally classic. You know what I mean? It was almost like the Size era, but it was very XTV still. It's like we still got our dark ways, still got that humor, but we ain't using it. It ain't the darkest cloud. Like it ain't covering the whole thing. It ain't just dark. It's positive lighting. And I may be sounding redundant. I'm old and I repeat myself. Shut up. The Killer's back catalog getting successful. Good. You looking dead at me. I can't stand Killer. You can't. I can't stand that child. But to me, this is the fans saying, Killer, your old stuff better than your new stuff. He dissed him. Cause at this point in 2012, Killer was falling off. And he was not that star that he once was. So I think when you continuing to put out material that your audience ain't receptive to, they gonna say, forget this, man. Maybe it was something more with this Killer Digital episode or this or whatever. They went back to all the '07 stuff. I love Killer. I love everybody. I can't just say him. Like I got a thing, but like you got a thing. Hold up. But go ahead, man. It's just that I can't listen to him. I don't care how funny it is. I don't care what happens. It's just like when he put us through that mess, sir. When he did that, it's like when I hear him joke, I just hear that evilness. I don't hear funny. I don't hear comedy. He hurts you guys. And as a result, when you see him, no matter what he does, it's going to just remind you of it. Exactly. It's his voice. You know what I mean? I had a friend. Her name was Becky Michelle. Becky Michelle. We made fun of her because she had two first names. She had a father, and he used to always scream at a mother. He used to always scream at her mother, Becky's mother. And he used to always scream, cuss, because he was a drunk and he was no good. But eventually, he got his stuff together and he was in some type of band or something like that. and he would scream during when he would, record and do music, and she couldn't listen to that because it reminded her of him when he was in that same situation. I mean, it reminded her when she was in that same situation. What's wrong with me tonight? And be yelling at her mother. So that's the same thing with Killer, even though it's not that dark. Well, actually, it's even worse. I mean, he bit me. Exactly. You know, uh, that's just how it is. Of course, I wish him success. Continue to do what you do. But, you know, it hurted. And stop coming up to me with flowers talking about some. You know what he does. but what I look at it as too is Killer still puts a smile on you guys' face. Sometimes cause he crazy. He just goofy. But it's just certain elements of him, that haven't matured to this day. And you can see it. You know what I mean? Everybody can. It's certain elements that haven't gotten better. You know what I mean? It's okay to be funny, but you have to draw a line somewhere. And I think that's with every comedian, because some comedians can be overly offensive enough where ain't nobody gonna pay attention to you. And to me, that's the period that Killer was in here in 2012. He was too offensive. It was too not funny. It was too messed up. So they went back to a time where maybe he was a little bit offensive, but at least it had some type of comedic element to it. He lost that comedic element. He lost that edge. The tiger. And as a result, his back catalog got a lot more bigger than his current catalog at that time. And that happens. Wild Feet was another character that Killer came up with, him trying to be funny. He goofy. What was your initial thoughts of Wild Feet? Same thoughts I had about what his name, Devil Snake Monsoon, Devious Snake Monsoon. Yeah, same thoughts. Like, what this boy doing? Where you get this man from? He don't want to be here. What are you paying him? That's the same thing with this. I was trying to I was questioning him. But on paper, you can tell what he's trying to do. It's a Native American character. We've never had nobody like that. We've never had that aspect of XTV. But it didn't work out. He has one major appearance on an F&K episode. Excuse me. But it was good at the time. But now, when you look back at it, and now it's not good. It's one of those things that it was classic then, but it ain't classic now. And unfortunately, I hope Wild Feet good. He probably work at somebody's gas station. Marry me. I'm just saying, Joe. You could tell that Killer just get these people randomly and say, just, hey, come here, man. You're gonna be a part of my team. You can tell he do that because that man didn't ask to be around, and you. Whatever it's called, stereotyping that man. Just because he's Native American, he gotta have a headdress and do all that different stuff. You wrong for that. And like you said earlier, this is why his old stuff was getting more popular. You was too offensive. You got this Native American being a stereotype, and he probably don't want to be that, but he probably want to make a little money with you. You sell people out. But you got to pray for the babies. The babies lost. You got to pray for the babies. And maybe the babies will find their way. Beast returning. Oh, yeah. I love me some Beast. I love Beast. I ain't seen him in some years. But that was my dog. Yeah. People don't know. But Joe used to tote. You did. Yeah. And me and Hank used to get high as the devil. I was happy when he returned in 2012, and he was dominating. He was just beating people up, and we was like, I can't believe he is back. And it's like because I think the thing with Hank, because he just did a podcast recently with Justin. Hey there, Ernest, how you doing? He did a podcast with Justin, and I was just happy to hear his voice. And but at this point in 2012, he was gone for like a long time, but he came back. I think he was gone for a year, and then prior to this he did Heavy Rain, and before he did Heavy Rain he was gone for a very long time, a real long time. I think Beast even missed the era of the athletes. He missed that period. You know, he probably wasn't even on '06 around that time. I don't think. Like, was he even on '06? Yeah, he was. He was. Yeah, he was. But he was gone for a very long time. Like I say, his last match was him and Charles Dean back in '08. Then he returned in 2010 with Heavy Rain. And then left a long time again and just came back better than ever, whooping tail. You know what I mean? And I think he probably was on the cusp of winning Comeback of the Year. But something must have happened, obviously, because he didn't continue, and that's another aspect of Beast can elaborate to me. Your old friend, like, where was you going? You know what I mean? Like, cause you would just leave, and you'll come back so good, and it's just like it get cut off too quick. You know. So that's what I want to know. I want to know where you be going and how you just remain so young acting. I remember you used to always talk about Beast. Yeah, the only thing I never liked about, or a situation I was in, he was with whatever gang he was in on the GTA little thing. Some gang he was with, and they said some of them was racist. He told that truth. But Beast, he spoke up for me, because one time we were having a poker night. It was me and Beast, and a few of his friends from that gang. I ain't like the one guy that walked in. He made this racist look at me. I done been through it, And he was like, what is this? We playing poker for an N-word. And I went off. I said, you call me an N-word one more time, this foot gonna go up your ass and you be my new parachute. And then Beast, he stood up for me, though. He whooped that boy's tail. He tossed him around the room. And next thing I know, I hear him go, Senator. Boom. And I see this big power just come out of him. I'm like, what is that? And, I was so offended. And he could see that I was offended. Even though he did a centitude, next thing I know, this man just turned around talking about something. Centitude for a dude. Say what? Vladimir for hell. Ooh. And I gotta take a picture of my dog named Jenner. And then he just did this big power move to him. I said, I ain't asked to do all that. But since you did it, let me get my kick in. And I kicked him in the shin. Wound up having to have surgery for 3 months. But anyway, in 2012, I was happy to see him. We didn't get to touch bases then. Like I said, his appearance was brief. But it's always good to see him anytime he either talks like he did on the podcast and come back, or in action, as we seen here in 2012. This best of 7. Anytime you have a best of 7 with athletes, I ain't gonna go into Ronald and Lucky. Anytime you have a best of 7 with athletes that are credible, it's gonna get real. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot that goes on when you in the ring. Endurance, and mentally, it's a lot of things going on. Psychologically, there's a lot going on in the mind. You know what I mean? Because at first you meet, and it's mutual respect between these two people. That's gonna be fighting 7 times or scheduled to fight in a best of seven series. It's mutual respect at first, but when you lose, you don't know what to do. You know, except go back in and fight hard. And sometimes when you feel you are in a deficit, hold on one second. When you feel you in a deficit, you take drastic measures into your own hand. It go from I'm praying to God that I win to I'm finna do whatever I can to win. Forget that. So that's truly what I feel happened in this series. When they fought in the ladder match, and Jordan hit her with that ladder, and Naomi got very angry because there was a classic match. They was not really using that ladder as a weapon. They was just using it, to climb. That's what Naomi's thought process was. Like, okay, we gonna climb the ladder. We ain't gonna hit each other with it. It's respect. But when she did that, she won. You know what I mean? And I think she even won the series by doing that, something like that. Jordan, that is. And I'm not sure what she had to say about it. I know she said something about it on the podcast. We haven't heard that one yet, like that. But that's just what happened. Passion, and you get kind of scared in a way. You terrified that this might be it. I might lose. And that thought, you don't want to have it. So you do whatever you can. And that's truly what Jordan did. I understand Naomi's anger. You know what I mean? It's just you don't understand going a level that low. But karma is real. And I know not to bring up old wounds, but when she kicked Yosi in the crotch, yeah, she kicked her in the crotch, and then she won that. Now here it go. 2 years later, 2012. What happens? That girl hits you with a ladder and wins the best of seven. You know what I mean? Yeah, it happened, but hey, that's just how life work. And I don't know if she's still mad over it or whatever. I hope she isn't. That already happened. But things happen in life, and you just have to grow from them. You know what I mean? And hopefully she has grown from this one. But that was a good series. It didn't stop. And that's one thing that somebody mentioned when we was doing they was doing the East show. They was doing XTV Downtown. How like just the women sometimes have better matches than men on XTV. Like they have show stealers. You know what I mean? And to me, this is one of them ones. And I don't know if there's been another women's best of seven since, but I don't see why it hasn't, because this was very great. And who knows what could happen with Jackie Briggs and Ada or something like that. You know what I mean? Or Jackie Briggs and that new girl, what's her name? Egyptian. Her name ain't no Egyptian. That's 90s auntie Joe. Queendom. Queendom. Who knows what had happened with those two, because they had a pretty good fight too on that same card that Yosi and Ada took on Dixie and Shannon. So that's just something to look at. HTV, take the jewels. I said jewels. Sound like I said Jews. Night of Champions 2012. Like I mentioned, like when we do recordings, when we do shows, they don't feel that good when we doing them. You know what I mean? It just feel like all this disaster going on, and we feel like we ain't putting our best effort into something, and our brain is just so like not into it, but it feel like we forcing it. And that's what this felt like. It felt like we was forcing it. On our end, I should say, on XTV West Coast, because this was an East End West collab. And, that's just what we felt like. But, overall, hold on one second. Yeah, what was I? But you look at the finished product, and it's not a force. It's good, just as it is. And I truly did enjoy this show, from top to bottom. fans have written me, many different things. They say that Trunks is when he destroyed Ray Ray. Do you think this comes from your abuse that you gave Trunks? They hit my email with that mess. Probably. But with Trunks though, it wasn't abuse. You see, I ain't trying to be offensive, but like that's just what happens in the black community. If you bad, you gonna get a whooping. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. And like, Trunks, when he would be bad and he would talk back or cuss, I get my cane out. I get my belt out. You know what I mean? But there are stories about you having the cane, hitting yourself over the head and saying, I'm the Sandman, and just randomly beating Dixie and Payne up. Well, yeah, I did that. I did. Maybe that's what I said though. Maybe it is. You know what I mean? Maybe that's truly what it is. Trunks. You know, the history of abuse, and maybe it repeats in his lifetime. Because I guess the same, and that's making me realize now that you put it that way is when a kid bad, you just don't want them to do bad. You know what I mean? You just like, stop being bad. Let me whoop you. And if you keep being bad again, I'm going to whoop you again. And, that process is like, it passed on to him now. It's like, instead of telling him why he did wrong, you just whooping him for doing wrong. Instead of telling him what he did wrong. And, yeah, I got some part in that. Next question. Sorry. Anything else about the show? I think Bobby and Dean put on another good match. As always, I think anytime you get those two titans in there and they duke it out, then they gonna have a classic, and they gonna deliver each and every time. I don't ever see, and to me, as far as MVP of 2012, even though we don't really got one, I give you one, Bobby Classic. Because it seemed like every match that man was in that year, he would steal the show. Him and 90, him and Dean, him and anybody, it seemed like. This seemed like an incredible year for him. And, this was a big step up. While you got Man kind of falling off, LT's getting fat. I remember that, yeah. LT got so fat. And I said, what? Is that Trunks? I was confused. I truly thought, LT, baby, with my heart of hearts, I thought you was Trunks. Because you would be so fat. And you'll come out there and, your voice is the only thing. That I'm like, why Trunks talking like LT? What is it, a new gimmick? But, things happen. That's true. Overall, this is a good show though, and I recommend everybody that love XTV East and West to check it on out. Sonic Generations, wow. This is another guy that can just leave forever but come right back. And I think even back in the day with Yaki, his show was like that. Like, he would leave for a very long time sometimes and come right back, and it'll be like he never left, and it'll add a new element into the era of his show or whatever it is. So I just truly respect that man, you know what I mean, with all my heart. And this to me is everything just coming full circle with Yaki. It's like he had his son on there, he was on there, and all kind of stuff. And this just made it, this was the best Yaki ever. I think even Shadow, everybody that made his show was good. And that's why I don't think he should ever come back with the show, because Sonic Generations was the cap off to me. That's the series finale. You know what I mean? He's done it since the 90s. You know, he was one of them shows you had to run to watch that. And here it is, 2012. Everybody running to watch that because we know who he is. We remember what he did. And he got the old him. And he got the all this stuff. It made it. Had the best show. Here. I'm stuttering. Yeah, it was funny, and it was real cute to see LT. You know, it'd be older Howard, and he had the baby Howard. I'm just a baby. He had that going on. It was real pretty and cute, and I loved it. You know, and you know, people thought that Yaki kind of had his day too with TV shows. I think he was trying to do Sonic '06, and you know, Sonic '06 is Sonic '06. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, come on. And that didn't work out. As a result, he did this show, and you know, it definitely delivered. Green lights all over the place. I'm hungry. Hip hop, battle rap, shooting dozens. It's just never appealed to me. I never was one of them people that could just sit there and listen to people argue. You know what I mean? And I guess that's what this was. But Joe, from your perspective, what this was? Two people cussing each other out. But you know what? I'd rather hear this than see some of the violent fights that go on. I'd rather see somebody talk mess to each other than, you know, do all these different things. Because you can say anything, but if you do the things you say, you know, nobody wants to see that. It's entertaining if you say it, though. Paint the picture real good. Now, the battle rap era in XTV was really important because this is a time period, you know, even though the whole topics that we talking about out of order, this is after the incident, you know what I mean, that we gonna get into a little later. And so after the incident, we tried to do whatever we could, and XTV East Coast was smart enough to do the battles, you know, and they did it great. And we tried to do the same thing, the same format, but we didn't write ours down. And that's, again, XTV East Coast or West Coast trying to just do something so different, like, ooh, we don't write ours, y'all write y'all's. You know, that's truly what that was. And as a result, the early ones are horrible. Monster and Flamingo, we can go down the list. Who else? Monster, Flamingo, Jazz and DT. You know, all them battles are not good. But when we started to write and really use wordplay, they stood out. GAP and Best. I couldn't believe that was Best. Yeah. He had Southern in his accent. I'm like, I asked Joe, I said, that's Best? See, that's Best. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Best doing his thing. He used to tell, he tore into GAP. People don't probably even remember his thing. He said something about roach spray, bug spray. I didn't get it. Yeah. And then I thought you don't like battle rap. I watched Best. You know I love Best, so I watched him. But yeah, that was a good one. What else stand out? The Chantel and Wells one. Let me talk about that. You know, there's sometimes that's why I don't really like rap, because it can come to a point where it's so disrespectful. You know what? I'm just gonna play it for you. Oh Lord, this is different. Yeah. Let me just play it, because people gonna think that Joe, he just talk. So let me play this first line for you. You know, some things is just disrespectful, and some things is just it's no point in that. We'll just put it into the thing. You heard what Wells said? You sorry, uninteresting B, and I hope you get raped. Can you believe that? That's just wrong. You know, okay, you don't like her as a person. That's great. You don't have to like a lot of people. Some people ain't meant to be liked. They was created and manufactured for you not to like. But that don't mean you gotta call them by their name like that and say you hope that something that will traumatize them for the rest of their whole life happens. You know what I mean? And that's why I didn't really. I guess a lot of people like the battle, because of his intensity and all that. But on my end, there's a line you need to draw. And with that, he should have drew that line. You know what I mean? You don't go that far, because how can you shake somebody's hand after saying something like that? How can you say, okay, it's just a battle? You know what I mean? And what did she do to you in the first place to get you so agitated to say something, to say such a thing? Exactly. You know, but again, this is just old Joe's perspective. And I feel like maybe the East Coast ain't gonna even like this timeline shoot. Oh, really? Why is that? Well, because I'm coming from the perspective of an old man, so they like, oh, why you got this old man talking about battle rap? Why you got this old man talking about battle rap? You got an old man talking about battle rap, and they just gonna say that. Why they got me talking about battle rap and I don't like it? I'm trying to discredit Wells. I'm trying to diss Wells, and that's not what it is. I'm truly just painting a picture of, he said something that's extremely wrong. And he gets clapped for it because what? The way he said it, how he said it, you know? Let's just really examine things and instead of just bash people. Oh, well said, Joe. Well said. A dud. Dud. Let me go, Joe. Joe can't even talk. I get a headache just looking at the title, Mary May. Go ahead. NXTV, when we feel like we ain't putting out enough content, we'll do things. XTV West, I'm going to say. We'll do things like, we got to do something. We got to put something out there, We got to look like we doing something. And maybe whatever we forced to put out there, maybe it'll be growth with it. Maybe something's going to come out of this thing that we just work real fast on and don't put a whole lot of thought into. And, we can go back to the past. Payne's albums. He did Payne X and Payne G, S-Word. We can continue to go on forever and ever. But here, XTV Coliseum home video, Joe already said that he think the Raw and SmackDown is the worst thing we ever done in XTV history. By the look at his face, it looked like he want to change that opinion. I do. Because this was just bad, all over. It was something we forced and something we tried to do all fast. I think DT was on announcing and they was trying to just be fast. It was too much going on. It was too much happening with XTV Coliseum home video. They was trying to do a drawback to that era of Coliseum home video. They had Dr. Doke on announcing, and they was trying to do that. And that's cool, but you have to really plan things out. The way SummerSlam recently was planned and executed should have been this Coliseum home video in 2012. That's how you do it. You take time, you think, and then you put it out there. You don't just, let's just do it because it's a good idea. You got to think about it truly. They took a lot of breaks on SummerSlam. What y'all probably don't know as far as the XTV East Coast is Trunks' line of "it's hot," that whole thing. He said that thing like a good 3-4 times, before we finally said, okay, let's use this portion. And that's just what happens with stuff. We don't just go with the first recording. And I'm sure XTV East know that because we did that with the Jungle Fever, And that's just how it is. You can't just go first take, let's go, and that's just what they was doing. I think they just recorded and uploaded it as they went. And I mean, this is bad. This is really bad. This is like one of those things that to me makes XTV in 2012 one of the worst years because of what we put out and what we wasn't, using. Like we wasn't really like focusing too much on trying to make something great. We was just focusing on putting something out to keep XTV relevant, to keep XTV moving on. You know what I mean? And we got desperate. And that's truly what this recording and thing represents, a very desperate time in XTV West Coast history. And the thing is, it's not even called XTV Coliseum Home Video. No, it ain't. We just call it that because at the beginning they just Coliseum Home Video pop up. I'm finna see what it's really called because I don't even remember. Lord, I don't know how my eyeliner I'm wearing now. I told Kathy about this. I told her about this. She's still using that same eyeliner. Don't listen to nothing Mary May say. Don't listen to nothing I say. Shoot. Yeah, we still looking for the name of that doggone recording that we keep calling XTV Coliseum Home Video. Still trying to look for it. Yeah, that's another thing XTV didn't do in 2012. Yeah, we gonna read you 2012 in XTV. We didn't make stuff stand out. Like we just didn't try nothing. Yeah, I think we just truly did too much to stand out, Joe. I was gonna say y'all. I was definitely gonna say y'all too. I was about to say, I was fixing my mouth to say y'all. Thank God I ain't said. XTV Classics is what it's called. XTV Classic. The first one just called XTV Classic. The second one called XTV Classics. Even with how we spelled it, shows you we didn't try too hard. The first one called XTV Classic 1. The second, third, and fourth one and fifth one called Classics. That's 2012 for you in a nutshell. We didn't really try that much to really stand out like that. And as a result, you got things like this. Bad content. Pain being a champion is so inspiring on too many levels. When you come from that darkness of a crack addict, forget it. When you rise up into the ranks as a young man and are considered great by children, you know what I mean, and all these different people, it's amazing. You don't know what to do. And being that young, you naive. And when them drugs come, now you a young man, but you older, but you on drugs. And that destroyed Payne's career for a long time. So we've seen him go down each year. And I hate to say this, but Payne's drug usage got so bad where it was like any day now they gonna call us, they found them in an alley. And this is when I would answer those numbers, that was like way, 1-800 something. I would think that they, the police or somebody letting me know they found Payne dead under a bridge somewhere, because it got that bad. He was using it so much and excessively. We would catch him out there smoking crack in front of my house, you know what I mean? And he'll be, I ain't smoking crack, man. I'm practicing for a movie role. He would do little things like that. And, it just got really bad over time. Where I couldn't even look at him in my face. If he wanted to borrow money, I couldn't even look at him. And there were so many instances where he was done with the drugs, but he would get hooked back on, done with it, hooked back on, you know. And this was the period where he was done. And when he beat Trunks the way he beat him, it was like, that's the end of a movie, you know. Because when Payne came back in '09 and he did that album that he did, he was off of drugs. Yep. He was good, and somehow he got hooked back on. I think it was that Jungle Fever role when he did Jungle Fever. I think once he had did that, he had to play a crackhead on a movie, and he just quit crack. So when get put in that situation, it's gonna remind you of that feeling you got, that fixed, and it's gonna take you back to that period. So what you gonna do is you gonna chase after that, and Payne chased after death, and he's living now though, and living proof that through darkness there is light. So I was very happy about Payne's return. You know, of course, I wish Beast would have stayed longer, but I'm happy that Payne beat Trunks like that when everybody was against him, saying it's gonna be a squash. Everybody just looking at him in a bad light. We got everybody recorded saying Payne gonna lose. He's sorry. We got almost everybody in XTV just being against him because he already destroyed his life so far. And just how he surprised everybody is amazing. When we already marked him off as dead, we just didn't get the call. But look, he's alive and well. And, that's why I stand in Payne's corner, because I seen him through them dark days. I heard what D-Matic would say when Payne was in that darkness. Not no words of encouragement from his older brother. Words of saying stuff, oh, get back on crack, OD. Trunks would say that on F&K to his younger brother. And people wonder why they say, why you favor Payne so? Little things like that. But like Mary May said earlier, karma is real. You know what I mean? Because what happened later on? Trunks got hooked on that mess. What happened after that? What's happening now? Trunks ain't the most successful athlete in XTV right now. That's what I be trying to say. People think that Joe just be doing things just to do them, but that's proof right there in a nutshell. I mentioned us doing the worst material, in 2012, but things happen to knock us off all our focus a lot of times. And I'm gonna be very brief on this because to me this is something XTV still hasn't recovered from fully. The incident of 2012 is when we lost all the material we've been working on from 2011 at that point, and you got to understand, when you don't really have a lot of people or a lot of dealing with the world, you find your own comfort in making your own world up. And when we used to record, that's what we did. We found solace in recording on a tape. You know what I mean? And that's when we would feel great. It wasn't the world that would make us feel that way. It was recording on a tape or whatever it was. So, it went from that to doing animation. And we did it. And when we did that first Cosby Show, we was like, that's good. We lost the second one. But then we did the second one that is uploaded, and we was like, man, we could really take off. Soup immediately started working. He immediately started working. He didn't think twice. And he was always working on it. I remember one time Sandra took him. They had went to a store, and he was just thinking like, man, just the whole time they was riding, he just thinking of different ways to do things and have characters move and say stuff, all these fun different things, that got him really excited. And Sandra was talking to him, but it was like her mouth was moving, but he was just saying animation. And he went home, and that's truly what his world revolved in. He would get really lost in doing that. You know what I mean? Making his own world. And so he stayed doing that. That's all he did, you know what I mean, for a long time. But shoot, one day, you know, the external just stopped working. It just stopped working. And there was no explanation why. It just stopped. And we lost a whole lot of things. Like we had Fresh Prince on there. That was that episode that we lost. We lost a whole lot of stuff. And it was real depressing for us because it was like, damn, where do we go from there? Because that was the new era. That's what we was planning. You know what I mean? It was all on that external. Like that was everything we was gonna do. And I feel like we would have took off with all of that because it was too much content. But that happened. We tried to move on, and another incident happened in 2013, February, where another external got messed up. No explanation. And it's hard to move on because it's like electronics don't be very reliable. You know what I mean? And it's always like that. But what that does do, to make this more positive, to bring positivity out of this, is it makes you more humble. Y'all already know Mary May already said she don't like rap. But I remember, watching a clip with Biggie Smalls, you know what I mean? And they was talking to him about his album sales, and he was just so nonchalant. He like, yeah, But like he said this though. He said, tomorrow, my album sales might not be good, or like something, like he said something like negative could happen. He mentioned that. And that's truly what you become when you see things like this. Exactly, because you live in that moment and all these good things are happening and stuff, and then something happens to distract you from your happiness where the external mess up. But then you get another external and you get into it and then you lose stuff. Then you get another one and then you get into it, you lose stuff. And when that process keeps happening, you just do it for the art of it, for the fun of it. But truly, you just know in your heart something could happen in a second. You know what I mean? So that's truly how I feel about that. Like I said, I ain't want to spend long on this. I probably did. But the internet is, like I said, something we have not truly recovered from. We still trying to make more content than what we had. We had a total of 11 projects. Wrap your head around that. 11 projects, that we were working on at that time. And to lose all of that, we had to start all over. You know what I mean? All over. It's like, just imagine you doing your job that you do every day, doing whatever it is you love to do, that you just do, and all of a sudden every ability is just taken away from you doing whatever that thing is you do. That's what the incident was. Drunk story. In 2012. Ooh, that feel good. That feel real good. What that is? Palmer Grail. Palmer Grail. He trying to get us drunk. But anyway, Trunk's had a good story. I'm glad he told his story at this point, because and this is another period where I feel Trunk should have just left. Like this is when you need to leave. But he told it great. He revealed some things a lot of people didn't know, and Yeah, ain't really not much to say, man. It was a very good recording, but we didn't know what we was gonna do with it until recently. We did what we did with it. What do you think of the East Coast's reaction? I was floored. I mean, we knew the East Coast was gonna like Trunks' story when we uploaded it last year, but we didn't know they was gonna laugh that hard at it. We didn't know they was gonna, die over that like that. Because especially the part where he was talking about hyperventilating, what the East Coast don't know is Trunks was dead serious when he was talking about that. He wasn't trying to be funny, But like I guess, because we listened to it recently, and it's like that shit is funny. It is pretty funny when you look back at it with all the aspects in it, and it's a great story overall. Anything sticks out to you about it? Anything stick out? What stick out? Just the hyperventilation thing that does, and then when he talked about his tag teaming with Black Evil, I didn't think he was gonna touch on that, because it was so brief. But the fact that he did it anyway, knowing that HTV East Coast will want to know, I think that's what makes that very special. It's definitely a special recording. This the type of stuff that we be talking about. Exactly. Evil is gonna do nothing but get more evil. It ain't no explanation with evil. It just is. Now, with this young lady, I hope she didn't put no curse on me. But Jackie Z, her calling herself the devil in it of itself is enough. She calls herself the devil. Now, there's different plays on that word where girls can, oh, I'm a she-devil or this. No. You says you the devil. That's right. What does the devil do? Take the D away. That's what he do. That's right. So, when she got involved with the man, and Kevon's a sweet man. He's a real nice man. He's a gentleman. But what do you see in the devil? That's right. He decided to go with her. They had arguments. She cheated on him. All kind of different things, but he still was going after her. And what winds up happening? His car almost got blown up. He almost got set on fire. And then you get to this. What was it? XTV Clash of the Champions? Exactly. And this happens where Kevon gets, I guess, the camera gets weird, and we haven't heard from Lance ever since. Some people say, oh, it could be suds, oh, it could be blood. It's the devil. That's right. No matter what these other guys, these little minions of the devil, because that's truly what you is, Jackie Z. You just a minion of the devil. You ain't the real devil. You just trying to be. You got the wannabe devils, and then you got all this stuff. This is what it culminates to. It doesn't culminate to great entertainment. It culminates to somebody being lost and hurting others. That's how I feel about this. This is one of the reasons I can't stand people like Killer and some of the stuff he put out there, because it's evil vibes. Evil is evil. Stay away from it. Okay? God didn't give you a talent to say, I want you to be the devil. He said, I want you to be whole. That's right. Make your mistakes. Do your thing. Don't be the devil. Because ain't no coming back from that. And when I say it ain't no coming back from that, have we seen Jackie Z since? Oh, Lord, Mary, you gonna start something. No. Have we seen Jackie Z since Kevon back? We still don't know where Lance is. I hope the baby okay. But wait, Jackie Z, how's she doing? That's evil for you, honey. Alright, this is the final thing we're going to talk about. Okay. XTV Hardcore House just like action in Orlando, you know, this was something that was supposed to be hardcore hotel, and we was gonna get our own hotel, stay there for a little while, and we was gonna do that. It was gonna be called Hardcore Hotel, something like that. And it just wound up feeling like a disaster to us because we felt like we wasn't putting enough. Again, we wasn't putting our best foot on it. And Hardcore House is okay, you know. I just don't. From our perspective, we just know when we put our best stuff out there. We know what it sound like. We know what it is. We can be like, okay, that's it. If other people find our bad work good, that's good. You know, aside from the 80s guy and D match is good, but Trunks' announcing and the jokes we forcing, this was that period too. I'm sorry, Joe, but this was that period when we was forcing so much jokes and material, just like, oh, hopefully somebody gonna get it. Like, and I said that we said this with the Coliseum thing. You know, things were just being forced. Like, we don't work like that. You know what I mean? You know deep inside when you just doing something just to do it. We can look back at a day at work, you know what I mean, and say that's what that was. It was good at first, but do you remember the last episode? And that's the same thing with this. We'll give Hardcore House a few more years, and I'm pretty sure y'all gonna forget. Aside from the 80s and Dean, you know, they stole the show. They always do. That's why I can't wait to see them go at it again. Killer and ODD went at it. I think Killer went in on Terry Williams. He was very harsh. You know what I mean? And just being just disrespectful. Exactly, calling the man a butler and all this other different stuff. The man just gave his honest view of how you treated the ODD. This man is a legend and you treated him like garbage. As a result, Terry Williams tore into your butt like he should have, and you get mad because I'm saved. My God, I'm saved. But anyway, I don't even like looking at that match, Killer versus ODD, because it's just a disrespectful mess. You know what I mean? But that's how I felt about the show in general. I did feel it was a mess. Terry Williams, you know, I really respect your opinion. We love it. You know, continue to review shows and stuff like that. But on this end, we could have did better. Sorry. You know, that's just how I feel about that. 2012 in hindsight. A year that taught us it's okay to put your best effort into something, you know, but pay attention to what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what this made us realize. Because I even think that this is the period where we would just record stuff and wouldn't listen back over it too. You know what I mean? Sometimes we would edit and stuff, but overall we was just recording and just doing things to do it. You know, and we learned the results. Like, we look back at this and, you know, we don't got the best of memories, but some things are pretty good. You know, you may think that we've been harsh on 2012, but when you had years like 07, 06, even though, you know, the content to me was dark or whatever, it still had an element of comedy and trying to do something. This was not trying. This was putting out just to add on to something. You know what I mean? And we learned from it, though. And we got better. It took a while, though, because, you know, somebody gonna talk about 2013. Well, there you have it. Nice, thank you, Grandpa Joe, again. Oh, no problem. Let me get that check. Mary and May. Oh, I told you I give hugs now. I give hugs. It's nice to know you. Nice to meet you. We're out. Don't you forget. Oh, yeah. to stop and smell the roses on your way today. See ya.